Right, ready? I'd like to call this Halfmoon Township Board of Supervisors regular meeting for October 8th, 2020 to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, in Chair Del Corso's absence, I'll be running the meeting this evening. Present, we have Supervisors Dave Piper, myself, Bob Strauss, and Patty Hartle via Zoom conference. So I will turn it over to Denise for the opening announcements.
Just a reminder that this meeting is being recorded live on CNET's YouTube channel, and it's also being recorded and will be posted on the CNET's channel as well. You'll get a link to that. Additionally, we'll be having movie night in the park on the Saturday 17th. Starting at 5, we'll have the Lions Club here with hot dogs and hot chocolate and food for sale, and then we'll have some games, some pumpkin painting and activities for the kids. And the movie starts promptly at 7:15. We'll be watching Nightmare Before Christmas. And so we just remind everybody to bring your mask.
Yes.
And there'll be spots to socially distance painted out there. And this year we'll be able to also do some drive-in spots. And you'll be able to listen to it on your FM receivers and your radios as well.
Great.
And I will take any volunteers who would love to help because I'm short volunteers for that.
Yeah, well, I already volunteered, so anybody else wants to step up to the plate, that'd be awesome. Okay, you kind of did that backwards on me, so okay, here we go. We have citizens' comments, and Mike Evanko, I think you've joined us for that.
Yep. Stand or?
Come up to the table, please, and have a seat, and the little thing on the table in front of you is a microphone. So.
Okay. My name is Mike Evanko. I own some property in Halfmoon Township at 4957 Halfmoon Valley Road, and also in Warriors Mark right across the street from that. But what I'm here about tonight is Central Region Code and inspection agencies for Halfmoon Township. Right now, as people probably know, there is a Pennsylvania Uniform Construction Code, and every township and borough and everything has to have an inspector, either through labor and industry or opt out or whatever, and have a third party. Halfmoon has Central Region Code. I've been working with Central Region Code for over 28 years. I'm a professional engineer. I design houses and commercial buildings and stuff. I've been working with them. I personally don't have a problem with it, anybody who works here or anything like that. But I'm just here to give an alternate choice for the town, for the residents of this township that you guys serve. A lot of townships are allowing people to choose who they choose for a inspection agency. Maybe have 3 or 4 choices are open up to anybody they want who's certified in the state of Pennsylvania. I'm not an inspector, so I'm not here for myself. People can choose who they designed the houses for them, who builds them. Why can't they choose who inspects them for them? And over the last several years, Central Region is getting worse, I'll be honest with you. If you could get contractors and professional people in the building and talk to them honestly without them, Central Region ever find out what they say, you'd be surprised what they would say about Central Region. Okay, and I know there's people in this room that know how I feel. And have the same opinion maybe. Okay, again, I'm not here to badmouth them. They have a lot of good people there, but they're not consistent. Just be a person who lives in this township. I don't know if you know him or not. I know Dave knows him. Dick Ryder, who's an excellent builder. Dick retired early because he got fed up dealing with Central Region Code. Dick built a lot of houses in this township, lived here his whole life. And he retired early because of that. He just got tired of it. They come out one time, tell him one thing, come out a second time, another inspector, tell him something totally different. Gets frustrating as a builder.
Sure.
Okay? I can go on and on. I'm not going to do that. Okay? But my biggest concern happened last week. And as a structural engineer, to me, the most important part of a house is the foundation of the house. Okay? That's the most important part. I don't care what the kitchen looks like, the bedrooms look like. I don't care about that stuff. I care about the foundation, structural stuff. There's a house being built on Smith Road.
Yes.
Last week, I did the plans for the homeowner who's here tonight. Contractor went out, did the excavation. The subcontractor for the walls formed the footers. Then like you call Center Region Code for inspection. Now, footers, there's three things you have to inspect for. You should inspect for compaction of the soils. Make sure you got good bearing. Okay? You have to check the width of the footer and the depth of the footer. Now, in this particular house, most houses around here, we don't put rebar in the footers unless you have really bad soils. The homeowner from day one said, I want rebar. So if you have rebar in the footer, then you get to check the spacing of the rebar, the size of the rebar, and the overlap of the rebar. Code requires certain overlap depending on the thickness of the diameter of the bar. Okay? So there's like 6 things they need to inspect for. Last week, I can't remember exactly what day it was, the homeowner was there when the Center Region Code came up for inspection. He walks over, looks down at the footers, looks at it, says, yep, good, went and signed the card. Didn't check any of those. Didn't check the bearing. Now the bearing, I'll be honest with you, Center Region Code doesn't have the expertise to check the bearing. They're not soil scientists, they're not engineers. For bearing, I can waive that one, I can understand that one, to be honest with you, okay? But they should at least walk the footers and make sure they're not soft. So if the ground's soft, then you know you don't have good bearing. The depth and the width of the footer, measuring tape, check a couple of places and be done with it. And it's pretty simple to do. They didn't do that. Footers were poured. Now, get to it. And then that night, the next day, the homeowner looked and said, these footers don't look right. And they're only 20 inches wide when the plans call for 24 inches wide. Okay? 4 inches short in width. So, homeowner and I talked, the decision was made. We made the contractor dig them all up and redo them. Okay? I called and talked to John Frank from Center Region Code and told him what would happen. Not mainly nicely, just to let him know what happened. That way because my dad always told me, if people don't tell you what you make mistakes at, how you supposed to improve yourself?
Sure.
We all make mistakes. If you don't make mistakes, then I guess you're perfect like my wife and Jesus is. You're not human. Okay, so we all make mistakes, and I understand that. The owner also talked to Walt Schneider about what happened. Okay? I don't know exactly what was said, but I don't think he really apologized, just said, it happened, whatever. Okay? So, yesterday they came out to do a re-inspection. They redid the footers, and they came out and did a re-inspection yesterday for the footers. I don't know about you guys, but if I got told that something wasn't done right, I think I would have been a little extra cautious about it.
Sure.
Okay, long story short, the homeowner caught it yesterday morning that the overlap on the rebar wasn't done right, the right length. Okay, that's when you have two rebars come together, you get the overlap in a certain length.
I'm a little confused though. Wouldn't that be the responsibility of the contractor?
No, the contractor, yeah.
Because he's the one doing the work, and he should know that that's supposed to be 24 inches, and the other specs that would be industry standard, or whether or not they were
Code's
following
responsibility
the.
to check that, to make sure he's doing his work right. That's why you're paying code. Code's coming out to make sure what's on the plans is being done. That's the code's responsibility. When they sign that card saying, I inspected that footer, that means I checked the width, I checked the depth, I checked.
And that's fine, but
They need to
I
do
think
that.
it's a shared responsibility
I
between the
agree. Bob,
contractor and
I agree with
the
you.
inspector.
I agree 100% with you. The contractor is just as fault as Center Region Code is. Okay? But I'm just saying here tonight, I think this township deserves to give their residents, and I have a property in this township, okay? And I lived in this township since 1992, or had property in this township since then, okay? I think this township should give the residents of this township a choice of who they choose. Okay? I mean, I can go on and on. I can show you a house in Patton Township, not in Halfmoon, where the code says, very strictly, coming out the front door, you can have a step, but that step must be at least 3 feet in depth. Okay? There's a brand new house a doctor got built, $900,000 house. There's a 12-inch step. The inspector from Center Region Code approved that step. Okay? And before you said anything, anybody says anything, that same inspector on another job that's done by a different contractor, 2 jobs, he wrote him up on that and wouldn't approve it. Why the difference? I can go on and on. So I'm not here to criticize anybody, like I said. I'm here to say I think the supervisors should, for the best interest of the township of this township, have them the right to choose who they want to inspect their houses.
Well, we have had conversations about that, Dave. I guess, spearheaded that conversation.
Well, I didn't really spearhead anything, because I didn't bring anybody in here. 'Cause
No, I understand, and I'm not making out accusation.
I just said that I thought that people ought to be able to have a choice.
Yeah, so this is not the first time I've heard that.
I realize that.
So I think, what we can say at this moment is that we'll take your words into consideration, and thank you for coming in and expressing your concerns, because we are going to have conversations about going forward with some of our COG relationships. That is something we have talked about addressing in the not-so-distant future. So, again, thank you for coming in, thank you for your comments, and we will keep it under consideration when we
That's
when we
all I can
address it.
ask, but I mean, I just think, you don't have to have this center region code. You can have 2 or 3 agencies.
Yeah,
Walker
sure.
Township does it, Better Township does it, this works out great for them. People are happy because they can pick who they choose to work with.
Sure.
John, do you have anything to add? He's the homeowner of the house.
Yes, I'm the homeowner. Yeah, well, today we did.
We need, I'm sorry, can we
Yeah,
switch that
there's
so
a
that you're on
microphone.
camera
Sure.
and
And
Can
could
you
you
state
state your
your
full
name
name
for the
and address? Yeah, thank you.
John Krejcevich, currently 2451 Halfmoon Township, or Halfmoon Valley Road, soon to be 879 Halfmoon, or Smith Road.
Smith Road.
So, yeah, what Mike said was accurate. I mean, the overlaps were right and, or weren't right. And the first time the side, see with a house, the footing width is very important because what holds your house up is the soil, not.
Sure.
And that's roughly 17% less strength, and we have clay in that area. So certain houses might be okay if you make it 20 inches, certain houses may not. Especially when you have roughly 70 cubic yards of concrete at 150 pounds a cubic foot.
Sure.
So, I mean, it's a lot of weight bearing down on your soil. And I know people who've had houses that were 12 years old and had a lot of cracks and ended up going to court over it. And
I don't think that's what actually is at the issue here, and I'm sorry to cut you off.
No,
But
agree.
I think what the discussion is really about is the Center Region Code
Center Region
Office
Code,
and
yes.
their failures in this situation.
Well, they had another one tonight, so.
I think you just,
Well,
Another one.
no, when, after the code inspector left, I noticed that they had, horizontal bars, should have been at 2 feet, they were at 3 feet, and I had him put a few more in, but that was after the inspector left. He didn't even, I mean, on the high walls, the 10-foot high walls, he didn't even look at, I mean, he didn't try to look at them, I mean, I don't know, so.
I've gathered you're not happy because
I'm not happy
they
with
weren't
their
following the book.
inspections. Their inspections were so unthorough. I took the day off and was over there all day, which I think I should have, but I mean, it's something as simple as a footer, it's just like, they're not really, so far what I've experienced has been very, very poor. I mean, we do inspections, I work for PennDOT, we do inspections for PennDOT, and I'm not an inspector, but I have been in the past on jobs as one, but you have to look at your specs and you have to look at what you're building, and I mean, it's an inspector's responsibility because a lot of homeowners, so if I'm not looking at this stuff, how many homeowners, are not getting what they paid for because inspection didn't do their job right? And I agree that as a township member, I would have liked to have some say in who I chose, but I mean, we didn't. I mean, that was what it was. But that's just my take on it.
well, currently we have a partnership with the COGS Code Office, and we've looked into if we were to even want to pull out of that, if there was a process, you have to give like 1 year's notice, and it would have to start at the beginning of the next calendar year. So basically it was like a 2-year, anyway. Even if we were to, let's say, make a decision, which we are not doing this evening, on something like that, you would be looking at 14 months, 15 months before you would have that choice. That being said, again, I hear you, gentlemen. It's something that needs to be addressed. And we are going to, in the future, have discussions on the topic of our relationships with the COG. So your comments will be taken into consideration, and that's really about all I can say for you at the moment. I mean, good luck with the rest of your house build.
Thank you.
New neighbor, I live down the street, so.
Good.
Oh, if I could add something, if you wanna
Put that in writing, or
Sure,
have your engineer
absolutely.
write it up. I mean, you're gonna be going through this process, cause you gotta finish this, your house, obviously.
Yeah.
So if you wanna just give us a detail of what you got, we can put it on a record for the township.
Email.
Yep. Email to Denise, the township manager, or, you know, whatever works for you, that's fine. You know, my experience has been different. Mine has been more of a, non-consistency thing than it has been anything else. And yours, I mean, obviously, I understand, you know, if you got a heavy structure going in there and things aren't being put in the way you hired an engineer for a reason. You didn't,
Yeah.
you know, anybody could just draw a picture, but you hired an engineer to make sure you don't have cracked foundation, all that kind of stuff. You wanna make sure you're getting what you're paying for. And especially code office says it pays for itself, but they charge a hefty sum to do the inspections on the house too, so,
I believe it was over 2,200.
yep.
Yeah, it's a lot to have something and, you know, and then to, I don't know,
Yeah.
to feel like they should be doing more, you know, I don't know. I think they could spend a little more time there. Maybe they're really swamped, but if you're paying that kind of money to have inspections, give me something for it.
Sure.
Show me that you're actually doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're taking a good thorough look. I'm gonna look at this. I mean, we use checklists, kind of. Have a checklist. If you're gonna charge that kind of money to do something, have a checklist, go
Sure.
through it. Okay, did I check this? Did I check that? Did I check this? I mean, that's all.
Well, you've logged a complaint with the code office, correct? You said you've spoken to Walt about it, and,
With Walt about
okay.
it.
So, yeah, I mean, it's about all you can do at the moment, so.
Yeah,
Again,
yeah.
thanks for coming in, I appreciate your comments, and we'll take it into consideration.
Thank you.
So, thanks, good luck with the rest of the build.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the approval of the agenda. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
I'll second.
Thank you, Patty. All in favor, say aye.
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 What would I say? Disapprove?
It's all approved. We can move on to the
Well,
subject.
it's unanimous, so, anyway. We'll move on to the subdivision land development plans and conditional uses. Denise, you wanna take it from there?
Yep, I'm gonna invite, Mr. Seifert and Bob up. Bob's his engineer. He'll go through the project, give an explanation, and then we can go through the process in which the supervisors need to take action.
Denise, pose, that was the word I was looking for.
There you
A
go.
pose. All right.
That's, I couldn't figure out what you were looking for there.
Yeah,
All right, Mr. Seifert owns a 17-acre parcel on Beckwith Road.
Yes.
In which he wishes to subdivide a lot off of. As you know, before the plan came, we originally went for a waiver, and with the public, upgrading the road, that was not in the cards. We were able to find a location next to the existing driveway to get him a driveway for the new lot.
Yeah.
Created separate and distinct from, the existing shared driveway he uses to access his house, which, was pretty much the only comment that we had at this point. The planning module, everything's gone through, testing was done, so we have a component 2 planning module for this project. As part of it, he's acquired, the frontage, from the, Jadon's, to give him the frontage on Beckwith with the lot. Any questions?
Why was it component two?
It's over 10, component 1 versus component 2.
Well, I'm familiar with that, there are actually 10 lots out of that?
Yeah, most of the lots across the on the east side of Beckwith all came out of that after 72, so.
Came out of that parcel,
Yep.
okay,
You're over 10, and that kicks you up to the component 2
Right.
status, so.
okay.
The planning commission did the review as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, does staff has
That
any
was
comments or complaint, or,
Tuesday. No, there were no issues with the planning commission. They did say that they would recommend approval condition upon, of course, the approval of the sewage component
okay,
planning module.
and that's what
from
we're
DEP.
looking at next, correct?
Yeah, we'll have to do that through a resolution,
Okay,
which I'll get you the number. I put the resolutions on there as XX for the
Yeah.
number, and then we just make sure, but the board does have to approve that through a resolution before
Okay.
they take any action on the plan.
okay, so, and we can do that, get that done tonight,
We
right?
can do the whole thing tonight.
Okay, let's see if we can do
Oh, well, DEP hasn't, I mean, obviously,
It'd be a conditional approval based off
okay,
of
that's.
planning approval,
Just gonna ask, yeah.
yeah. Is what I would be requesting.
All right, well, you got primary and backup for everybody in there?
Yep.
Okay, and you got 2 areas, I take it tested for sand mound
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah, there's 2 areas, and all 3 locations are pretty much right in that one area, just north of his existing pole shed.
I'll give it the, be it resolved and hereby is resolved. Make a motion to pass the resolution for the sewer planning module component 2 for the secret subdivision.
I'll second.
Thank you, Patty. Do we have any further discussion? Let's take it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. So we'll move along to the next part.
Which is action of the plan.
Okay, question on the plan, do we have our PennDOT HOP?
Yep.
Okay, so the module's the only thing outstanding.
That's
How
it.
about the stream crossing?
He went to the conservation district,
Tim
and
Coslow?
no permit was
We have a letter
required.
from them that says that there's no violations and there's no permit required.
You didn't get a GP or anything like that?
It's less than, I think, 100-acre drainage area.
Okay, I
No
wasn't sure
permit.
what they had up there, but I
No
know
permit
there's
required.
water runs down through
All
there.
they said is you can't disturb more than 1 acre of land.
Right, right, otherwise you're gonna step into an MPDES permit, and that's no fun, so.
I'm glad you're here tonight, Dave.
Well,
You know all the
I don't
great
know if I'm
questions to
helping
ask
or
on
hurting,
this.
but just trying to make sure all the i's are dotted and t's are crossed.
Yes, exactly.
I know staff does a wonderful job with that stuff, but it's just, I'm just throwing my 2 cents.
Yeah, well, what I was gonna add myself is I feel like we've held your project up long enough, and if staff doesn't have any questions or concerns, and all the letters are dotted and crossed, and I don't see any reason why we should stand in the way.
And we have all that documentation from everybody, from all the different, from the engineer, from the conservation district. We have all that documentation
Okay.
that
Absolutely.
everything has been checked off, every box is good, except for, of course, the planning module.
Planning
So
module's
if you
kinda
take
holding
action
it
on the
up.
plan to approve, it would have to be conditioned upon that.
Right, well, I make a motion that we conditionally approve the plan pending the DEP approval of the sewage planning module.
Second.
Great. Any more discussion? No? All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Aye. Dave? Aye. Okay, unanimous. So there we are.
Fantastic, congratulations, guys.
Congratulations.
Bob, I will get you the resolution number and I will seal it and send it, drop it off.
Thank
Yep.
you, I appreciate it.
Welcome, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right, move on down to
That
the
was
approval.
painless.
Yep, I'm glad it was too, because
That part.
yeah,
Yeah, well-
the first part of that, it kind of like, I would go home feeling like I just got stabbed in the heart because I had to tell the poor guy no, you know, but, anyway, let's move along. Approval of the minutes for September 24th, 2020's meeting. Did everyone have an opportunity to take a peek?
I'm fine with
Yeah.
it.
I'll take a motion to approve the minutes.
I move to approve the minutes of September 24th.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Unanimous. Okay, now we'll move to the consent agenda. to approve the payment of the bills list for the period of 9/20/2020 to 10/2/2020 from the following funds: the General Fund, the Open Spaces Preservation Fund, and the Parks Recreation Fund.
I just had a question about the Park Rec Fund. I take it is that our monthly payment?
That's our monthly payment.
Ooh, that's a lot of money in a month.
didn't
All year,
participate
it'll
in-
be 39, so that's for our park. We will be paying 39.
our park.
Yeah,
Okay, gotcha.
$39,000 a year for the next 10 years for a total of over $438,000.
Yes.
It's a lot of money.
It is, but it's a
Yeah.
beautiful facility.
It is a beautiful facility, I will
I'm
say
very proud
that.
of it.
Just pinching us a little bit, that's
Yeah,
all.
I know.
And the general fund, it should be noted, the general fund's high because we received, and that's in my report, but we received the fireman's relief
Right, which
money,
is pass
which is
through.
just, yeah, we were just the pass-through. So we receive it in and then we have 60 days to distribute it out. So that jacks that number up. So it looks like we had a lot of bills, but we,
Well,
Yeah.
I make a motion that we, approve the consent agenda and pay the bills.
Second.
Okay, great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. So we move on to old business.
nothing new with the official map and the property maintenance code.
Yeah,
Bob, we just talked about
we
that
talked about
prior
that.
to the meeting. We just need to get
Nothing to
together with
update.
Walt and start having discussions on that. But we can do that a little bit after we get the first budget meeting out.
Yeah, sure.
Do we want to keep the official map up there? I'm thinking like sometime in the spring of 2021, maybe we ought to sit down and have a special meeting to talk about that and where it's going with the official map. You know, rather than just keep passing it through every month. I'm not trying to get rid of it. I think an official map is important for the township, long-range transportation, all that good stuff, but, there's no point in just keep, we're brushing off the side because we don't have time to deal with it right now.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be getting into budgeting season. Denise is probably pulling her hair out trying to keep up with things, so.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I'm not even totally sure what we're supposed to be doing with the official map at this point.
My understanding is there was an official map that was approved but never recorded. And as such, we don't have an official map.
No.
The
So,
one that
so
we
we're,
had-
I'm gonna ask a really stupid but obvious question. Official map like that kind of map that's over there all hanging on the wall, right?
Yes, it goes through. And
Similar to that.
Yeah,
it
sure.
has
but
like our
it just-
zoning districts outlined and.
What it would have on the official map, or what it had on the old official map, was basically a bypass around Stormstown.
Gotcha.
And the idea was that if a developer came in that bought that piece of property, that we would be able to force them to allow that access around Stormstown as an alternate way out.
Yeah.
And I don't know how the rest of the board feels, I'm just one person, but I think we need to revisit that as a board and sit down and say, what do we feel is important on this thing? Even if we have just a bypass road around Stormstown, if everybody agrees on that, I
Sure.
think we ought to just to do that and not get too fancy with it. But I think we as a board need to sit down and
Emergency
talk
access
about it
kind
for
of
a few
thing,
minutes
yeah.
and put some time into it. And the old official map is, good God, 25 years old.
It's outdated.
Yeah, well, it was probably outdated when it was done, but at the time, the township was under a pretty heavy panic, because the development was so rampant. I mean, we were talking, 39, 40 lots a year of just, we don't do anywhere near that now. So, and we were losing a farm a year, so it was probably more important at that time, but I think we got a little bit of breathing space with COVID, no pun intended, COVID-19 and everything that's going on. That maybe the board could sit down and we get the budget done, sit down in January, like good citizens, and say, what do we feel is important as far as long-range access, maybe have our engineer here or something like that.
I could take that off the agenda if you'd like.
Yeah, I think that's a
And-
great proposal, because I mean, all we do every meeting is we say,
Well, we just
okay, and
pass
we
it
just
through.
blast right through. We don't even talk about it,
And
so.
it needs to be discussed.
Sure, absolutely. Like I said, I wasn't even totally clear what it was, and I wasn't sure why it was on our agenda, and we never actually did anything with it. So,
I mean, I don't think we're gonna get through the budget in short order here, and have a bunch of free time.
no, we're not.
But, January, second meeting in January or something like that, maybe we could sit down and, even if we just put 25 minutes into it, I think we could come up with a good idea with the engineer and have staff put some stuff together. They could look into a few things. If everybody's cool with it, we get it out there and adopt it.
Yeah, sure. I think that's a great idea. Thanks, Dave.
I'll remove that and then, add it to January
The
or
long-term
early February
agenda.
of, yep,
Okay, when we were at new business, correct?
yes. So for new business, the first thing is a cash management. It's an agreement enrollment and a remote deposit agreement with Jersey Shore State Bank. So right now, as we have things set up we just went through the giant tax collection period here because all the dates got moved, and so September 30th was our deadline for, what got moved for our face? Discount. And we had deposits that were huge. And of course, everybody was bringing everything in at once, and we had a discussion as to, JSSB has also reduced their staff. And so taking in a deposit that is that big caused a lot of delays for them.
You don't have to sell me on that.
Okay. Well, the short idea behind this is we called the bank and said, do you have one of those machines that your tellers use that we can just have and run our real estate deposits? So we're saving everybody time. We don't have to run in the deposits. We can do it daily rather than, wait. And we had a great discussion with them, and the equipment is free.
Oh, good.
Yes, the equipment is free. They like the idea of it as well because it does save them money and time. So it's an agreement to get into what they call their cash management program. And then we have to enroll, we have to do the agreement, and then the remote deposit is a separate agreement. And we had to set limitations for daily limitations, and then 2-week limitations and monthly limitations. So
Limiting the maximum number of checks that we can submit.
yes, and that can be changed, but it's more there for fraud prevention.
Yes.
So, if all
I
of a
work for a
sudden,
bank, so
right,
yes.
if in one day they
That's
see,
fine. I forgot about
In fact, I think I have one of those check readers in the back of my car,
well,
so.
oh, wow, I'm sure it's not the same one.
No.
Okay, so the agreements are based on the number of checks that we can deposit.
Yes, but we can have that changed. So,
Well, I guess my concern is, if we're doing, say, 100 checks a day or something like that, if our agreement says we can do 150, I don't think we're gonna have an issue.
no, and we
know.
went above that. So, staff went and looked at, what is our 2-week, weekly,
Yeah, you
what's the
guys should
high
be able to
point?
figure out
Yeah.
what your number should be that you can stay within, so.
And that's right, again, and we can change that. So let's say in the COVID world, you never know what's gonna happen next, right?
Yeah.
And let's say some sort of date changes and all of a sudden what we thought would be 100 check daily limit, all of a sudden becomes 500. All we have to do is call the bank and say, today we need you to up that limit and please expect that this will happen.
Yeah.
And it's fine.
They just don't wanna be blindsided, I guess.
Yeah, it's more, because if they suddenly see a huge amount of checks, there might be some sort of fraud
Yeah,
happening.
the
It's just
fraud
an alert.
trigger.
Like when your credit card starts making sales in California.
Yeah, anything out of the ordinary makes them
Yeah.
go, whoa, what's going on, so.
All right, so what you need from us, I guess, is an agreement that the supervisors sign or approve or whatever.
I have all the agreements in place. I just need the board to motion that we can go ahead and sign them, and it will
And
be,
you've reviewed the agreements to make sure that we're not signing anything like they get 10% of our total.
yeah, they don't take any money or any parts of it. They are 100% just very
And what's the
easy,
duration of the agreement?
until we revoke it.
Okay, no penalty for early
Nope.
withdrawal, none of that stuff.
Nope, it's,
So there's no, time limit, obligation either, like we're in for a year,
no, we can,
anytime.
anytime we want,
Great.
we can just as a board say, we want to get out of it, and we're done.
Okay, but that agreement is just based on the cash or reading machine, the check reading machine.
Yes.
Is it we doing it by resolution or just a vote of the board?
Just a motion from the board, and then I have the documents for the chair to sign,
All right,
which,
well, Patty, you got any questions? I can't hear her.
No, I'm good, that makes sense.
Sure does.
Well, I think it's a good idea, and we were probably well past when we should have done this.
Yeah, sure.
I make a motion that we approve the agreement for the check reader and associated documents.
I'll second that motion.
Great. Any further discussion? Seeing none, take it to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 That's unanimous. And now on to the options for the defined contribution 401 plan.
So right now, I'm gonna ask that we table this discussion. I'll give you a basis for it, just so you know what's coming up. But right now, we have a defined benefit plan at the township, and we need to change that because of the financial obligation long-term is not sustainable. So what we're looking to do is change into a defined contribution plan. We currently have our plan through PSAT's Investment Trust. We have a 457 plan. What we're looking to do is make it into a defined contribution plan. I need to get some clarification on some things before making a recommendation. So I'd like to table that and bring that back to you.
How much money are we blowing out the door currently for the retirees?
Right now, we pay 3% of your salary, and when you retire, it's based off of your numbers of years of service times the highest 3 years of your salary. So basically, we're replacing your paycheck when you retire. Your
That's
monthly
not,
paycheck.
that's not even sustainable.
No, no kidding. That's
I
why.
would go, who approved that, but I know. And it's way before this board, so.
Yeah, I was
The
gonna
previous
say,
board.
I don't have anything to do with that one.
That sounds like the Philadelphia retirement plan down
Yeah,
there. so,
well, it's the Senate's retirement plan and, any of
you
these
know,
big
Your
outfits.
top 3 years, that's.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I
And
mean,
we're-
I understand, I don't personally have any retirement, and I understand it's great to have a pension and all that kind of stuff, but, you ask a lot of the taxpayers in this little community to shell out a lot of money, especially in the last person that had your job over there. But anyways, yeah, we need to do something,
Yeah.
pronto, and I don't wanna rake any of the current employees over the coals, but, this township's gotta stay solvent and it's gotta keep going.
And the current employees will stay vested. They already are vested in that.
Right.
What will happen? So we received notification that our pension plan is in distress.
It's upside down, I know.
Yep, we're in level 2 distress. It's currently underfunded.
Yep.
And in order to get that back to a level of 70% or 75% funded, what we need to do, and you'll see this in the budget meetings when we
Yeah.
go and talk about it, our plan is to put an additional $2,000 per year for the next 5 years into our MMO. And that should take us out of
Is that
the level
per
of distress.
employee or just,
For current. So what the plan is here is any new employees coming on,
would come under the new plan?
right, and then we wouldn't have that gaping financial obligation.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think we ought to send a bill to the people that voted for it originally.
Yeah, I can't even fathom a plan like that exists. My retirement plan doesn't work that way, that's for sure.
Yeah, well.
So,
No,
but
I'm not-
anyway, you said you wanted to table that.
Yes, please.
So, okay, we'll table that.
So you're
till
gonna
next-
put numbers together for us and
Yes, I originally thought this would be a very quick move.
there's no happiness in that, so.
And no, there's a couple of things I want to get some clarification on, but the board will get to make decisions on that 401A plan. So you'll get to decide, the idea behind it is basically we want employees to be responsible to an extent for their own investments. So, maybe you put, and the board gets to decide this, but maybe 3% can come out of an employee's paycheck, and if they do an additional 3%, we'll match that. So those are some of those decisions that I'll
That
come back.
sounds like most companies.
Yes, that is now currently how people handle retirement accounts because pension plans are upside down.
Yep.
So
All
I
right.
want to just be very clear on the questions I'm asking you guys to decide, and I
Nope, I
need
appreciate
just a
that.
little
Sure,
bit.
absolutely, so do I. So, anyway, let's move along. So where were we? Department reports for September.
So the treasurer's report I just added to the agenda. That came out late because the mail has been laggard, I would say, in getting everything out, but there's nothing showing in the treasurer's report that shows anything to be concerned about. Same with the tax collector's report. The building code and zoning report is, I would say, we only have 4 items on that right now. We're not getting a whole lot in for zoning. Public Works and my report, let me pull those up real quick.
Our crew had been busy, what are they working on now?
So that's the resolution. There's the treasurer's. Sorry. Just want to make sure we're getting everything. Oh, riffraff days. I want to, so the crew did riffraff days on Friday, the 2nd of October, and Saturday, the 3rd. I was at a retreat all day on Friday, but I came out and worked with the road crew all day on the 3rd, and I have to say, kudos to the road crew. That was
Absolutely.
an incredibly difficult and trying day. I have no idea how they did it in the summer months.
They've been doing it for years.
Ooh, is that
We have to have to
exhausting?
look forward to every year.
I would.
We only do this once a year, right? Or
My
is it
understanding is
twice?
it was twice a
Yeah, I
year
thought
in
it
the
was
past.
twice for a while there.
I would make some recommendations that we modify some of how we handle that. That is a lot to
Sure.
ask the crew to do,
I think
and
we'd have a township cleaned out by now, but.
You know,
it was.
After 25 years.
my wife keeps buying stuff, so please keep doing
Yeah,
riffraff.
Denise, you should have seen it the first few years we did it. There was probably 5 or 10 times as much stuff down there.
Wow, that was I had no idea how much work that was.
Yeah, and it is just once a year.
Okay, yeah, that was quite a bit. I was really sore the next day, but the guys did a fantastic job. So kudos to them. We did finish up all the road projects for 2020. There'll be a meeting tomorrow. We're going to finish up the paperwork and make sure that that's all completed. But Chanelli Drive has been completed just this past week. We've been working with a couple of homeowners about some drainage issues. They've been asking, about right-of-ways and swales, so we've been working on a couple of items for that. We've got some quotes for people to make changes, and the engineer's been working with some homeowners as well to help mitigate some issues that maybe homeowners can
Sure.
take on, projects that they can do. We've also provided quotes that if they want to pay, the township will be happy to help participate in work. But, again, we have to prioritize.
Yeah, sure.
We've done that before.
What worked with homeowners, I don't know
They
of.
bought pipe and we put it in and those kind of things because things just had to be done.
There's a lot of stormwater and runoff issues within the township,
If
so.
that gets bad now, puts at the Wayback Machine for 30 years.
And so what the guys also finished completing all of the robotics,
Road study.
the image collections.
Yes.
And we had a meeting with Robotics, and the collection of the images, they're fantastic pictures. They were impressed. I bought the biggest, baddest iPhone for that specific reason. But we do have very nice images, and the images are wide angle, so we have a lot of the sides of the roads
Edges,
too.
yeah.
So now we can start using some of those images.
And do they give you, like, we suggest here, here, and here, or they just say, here it is, have a nice day?
That's the next step. So the next step, and we're going to have a meeting, is the analysis. So we just completed the imagery, which we didn't even have before. So what will be nice is any projects that we do moving forward will have an image of what it looked like before. We can go out, drive that little portion of whatever's been completed, and then we'll have a dated image and can see how things move. We can also do that if there is a giant flood or washout or a big storm problem in one area. We
Somebody
can,
runs a bunch of logging trucks up the road.
yep, we can take those photos and have that new imagery, and so we'll have dated items that we can see. So we'll be having a meeting with them to see what the next steps would be in the pavement analysis portion.
Great.
Keep it posted.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the road crew's been working really hard. They've also worked with the Little League. They're going to, Little League will be proposing something, I guess, a traveling team has been modifying our fields without permission.
I'm sorry, what?
Modifying our fields. I did not
That's
know this, but the
nice.
posts that go in for bases have been dug out and moved and changed. So we met with Little League, and Little League's going to propose putting in, I guess, there's a 60-foot and a
Yes.
40-foot different. Okay, so
You got Keener League or something, who else is coming in here?
it's traveling teams, and we had it set up where it was meant for the 60, and I guess
Yeah.
they dug it up, moved it, put it in the 40 spot, and removed the pitcher's mounds. So we met with one of the representatives from the Little League, and they proposed putting in a 60-foot again.
Yeah, they should have both.
Yes, so that way there's like a cap that goes on the
Yes.
top. It will be a safe. A safe.
Yeah, the way they
running
do it is they
distance.
put a little cap in the box that the peg goes in the hole on the bottom of the base. You take that out, you don't want the dirt getting down in there, so you put a plug over top of it. But there's also that they stick these things in the ground that are like these little, like almost little pom-poms that stick up out of the ground, so you can see them, so you can figure out where the base is. It's a pretty good system. They do it up at Oak Hall where I play ball too. Because
Yeah,
they
it's-
use that, those fields are also used for they're big men, young girls, that kind of thing.
So Little League will be getting back to us with a proposal because I guess there's going to be some concrete that gets poured for this project
Are
as
they
well.
looking to foot the bill?
They're going to pay for it. So
Okay,
I
yeah.
just asked that
I'm
they.
all for it if they're going to.
Yeah, absolutely. If they
As long
want to
as they
make
do
the
it right.
modifications, we just need to have something on record that
They're
states.
using it, so.
Yep.
Yeah,
What the
exactly.
modifications are, so we know what's within our fields, and that will be forthcoming. So
Sounds like a
that's
free upgrade to the field to me, so.
yeah, in a way it is.
Yep.
We also have been training staff on the Outlook email change. And I know it's been difficult, but more training to come on that for some.
Is that the end of the department reports?
The only other thing I have is we've had some illegal dumping in this park as well. We've
On the
contacted
ground or in the dumpster?
in the dumpster. So we put up a camera because it's been a big issue and a big problem, and we found a license plate and contacted the state troopers and issued the state troopers issued a citation to somebody for theft of services. I'm gonna have the road crew get a sign because
Do you
we.
suspect that that's been the same person all along? or
Nope, it's been different people. We've got plenty of pictures of people.
Using the
Illegal
township
dump.
dumpster for their personal garbage?
Yes, but I did have one of the perpetrators contact us, and he made a fantastic suggestion, which was the recycle bins are out there, which are public. So he didn't know that wasn't a public dumpster as well, since it's right by each other. And he said maybe you should put a sign, and I think that was actually a really
Yeah,
good
absolutely.
suggestion.
Once it's posted, you can't
Yeah, and
argue with it.
the trooper agreed, so we're gonna go ahead and
Where
order.
are our recycling bins currently?
There's 2 down here at this park, and there's 2 over at Autumn Meadow.
But there's none at Ira Lane.
No, my understanding is that pad was developed for that specific reason, and
Right.
residents came in and complained, so the board
Yeah,
moved them over
We
here.
moved that because the residents there were unhappy.
With our 120-foot wide right of way that can.
Well, no, it's not that. It's the area itself was being treated as a dumping zone. People would bring their recycling and throw it in there, and we also think it was a lot of folks not from the township, people just passing through, and it's right off the Pennsylvania 550, so people were stopping and dumping their things, and then it would fill up very fast, and then before it would get emptied, they would just leave their stuff laying all over the ground, and
I won't
it became a serious problem that I even went over and cleaned up myself one day, and then we eventually said, that's not right for sort of big opening of somebody's
I
neighborhood.
won't disagree with that, because I know that there are people who come through from other places that did dump their recyclables there, because Their home municipality doesn't have recycling.
Yeah, I'm fighting with that with
But, you know, it's one of those quandary things, like, we want to encourage recycling, and I really don't care, it's better if it gets recycled than gets stuck in a landfill.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with other people using it. You're right. I want as many people to recycle as possible. The issue we were having with it was the people are just leaving their trash like all over the place, and it was very unsightly. And I know if I lived in my $400,000 home across the street, I don't want to look at that. So, you know, I definitely sided with them, so.
And that's, interestingly enough, the perpetrator is not a resident of this township.
Back to the dumpster issue.
Yes, and was told by somebody that this was public use to go ahead and just dump. So, it's
Well,
a,
he won't be the first person that's caught doing that.
no, but I did ask the trooper to actually go ahead and issue a fine, because I think
It was
that will
that
help
much,
stop some of the issues.
The
And it's,
rumor will get out there.
it's a whopping like $27 fine, so,
Yeah,
you know.
it's not
Yeah, but it's
exactly
the
a
$86
felony.
cost that,
That's the piece. It adds up for all those, you have all those other
Yeah.
fees that go with it. We've also been working, I've been working closely with the fire company to try to find ways to improve fire service within the township. And I don't have the specifics yet, but the green reflective signs that you can put on your mailbox or out at the road, we're gonna start.
ones with your numbers.
Yes. We're gonna start offering a standard sign that residents can order.
The Warriors Mark does.
Okay.
They've been doing it for 20-some years.
We're gonna do it where you can pick it up you can order it,
Yep.
pick it up at the township, and
It costs $10 or something.
the ones that I looked at through, because I was gonna do it through our vendors, it would have been $20.
Okay.
Uh,
It may be that now, I don't know. I bought mine off of Warriors Mark.
But we'll put it on our website, and they're fantastic.
We're not making it a requirement, correct? It's just,
Not at
Actually,
this point,
It
no.
is by ordinance.
is it really?
It-
Like a $600 fine in this township for not having your house number on.
Oh, no, I mean, this specific reflective sign.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
This specific one, no.
Because, I mean, personally, I have a reflective sign, it's just not green. So I wouldn't personally want to go through the expense and trouble of, you know what I mean? But, you know, I'm just trying to make sure that we're not forcing this on
I
people.
will tell you, at night, those green signs show up at night.
Yeah, they do.
If they just turn the light around, they can look,
Yep,
you know, when they come through and spot your house quick.
yeah.
And that was the conversation with the fire chief, is they're having some difficulties in the evening specifically
Yep.
with the location of properties.
Mm.
So these, anything we can do to help make it so that if there is some sort of issue or they
Yeah,
need to come
I
to
won't
you.
say everybody in Warriors Mark has one of those signs, but there are darn few houses.
Yeah, they're very helpful when it's a driveway that goes back into the woods and the house is way up there.
Yes, that's
Maybe
what
just
they,
to pick
It's
up the
very,
house
they
number.
jump out at you at the head of a driveway
It's
like
nice to
that.
be able
so.
to see it.
so we're gonna try to work with the fire company more to get those
Sure.
type of
Good deal.
simple ideas that we can do. And then those make great Christmas gifts or
Sure.
welcoming gifts to somebody new within the township.
There you go, that's a great idea.
And then other than that, we're working with Comcast to upgrade our phone system to a voice over internet protocol. We should have a quote going for that. So what we'll have there is the ability to, if I'm working from home, any call that would come into the township office, somebody could transfer directly to my cell, and I
You
could
sure
take
you
it.
want to do that?
Our phone system
be
is
careful
from
what you wish for.
1975. We don't even have individual
I can tell
voicemails.
you, I have to pretty much leave my phone in the truck right now, because I'm sure there'd be lots of people calling me going, I need this, or I want that, or,
I've also learned to leave my cell phone in another room after a certain
yeah.
part of the evening, but it will transfer in during the day if there's
And that
anything.
sounds great, Denise. I think it's very much needed.
Yeah, so the idea is we'll have individual voicemails. We'll have the ability to
That would be
page
nice.
within buildings.
Yes.
So we'll basically get much more service for probably essentially the same price.
Yeah, sure.
So that will be coming.
Sounds good.
Great.
We're gonna move on to supervisor reports. I'll start. Unfortunately, the Human Resources Committee was, this month's was canceled. And I'm wondering if that's gonna be a committee, in the near future. That was one that they were talking about axing, so,
Well, human resources,
yeah, the HR, the COG HR committee,
where
that
are they
might be
gonna
going
put
away.
that under?
I don't know. And I did attend the Upper Bald Eagle COG meeting on Tuesday. It was pretty uneventful. The big takeaway was that the fire department has an engine that needs about $5,000 to work. They're in the middle of, and they keep coming back to us because it's a Cummins diesel, and the problem is something that only Cummins can handle. So they're dictating the price. So that's starting to get a little pricey, but we have it, fortunately. And I discussed briefly with one of the other supervisors, Bob Berg from, I believe, the borough. He is wondering where we're going, the direction we're going with the nuisance ordinances, and I told him that we were kind of in the works on that, and I'll keep him posted. But apparently they're having some issues over there as well. So, but that's all I have. Dave? No?
Got nothing.
Okay, Patty?
Yeah, I had the facilities meeting on Tuesday. I have some notes from that I'll just email out. Several things happened, but I don't have my notes with me because
That's
we were
fine.
traveling. Finance met this morning, and we approved the summary budget to be passed to the general forum, then to be passed to the municipalities. So for comments due on, I wrote that down too. I think it's November 15th. I'll get that out to you too. I don't have my notes, but we have time to get our comments back. I'm pretty sure it was November 15th to have to go back to the executive director, but they've approved the summary budget for distribution. And what else? Oh, open space. We met Wednesday. We're discussing the rating scale for permanent preservation, and we're looking at sending out a letter to all people in the program just to gauge interest. And we're, like I said, we're working on that, on scaling that assessment chart. So I think that's about it.
Great, thanks, Patty.
Yep.
And is there anything more for the good and welfare?
No, just the transportation and land use. Corey Roke, our senior planner, has been, and I've been tying these in. So Barb Spencer gives us that CCMPO.
Yes.
And Corey Roke goes to the transportation and land use. And so I've been tying them in just to the agendas so that if you have questions on them, Corey's been providing kind of an update.
Okay.
And same with Barb, that it's just kind of an update of what went on in those meetings. So if you have any questions on those.
That's these two links right here.
Yes.
Within the, okay, great. Yeah, I can check those out later. I didn't realize they were links to reports.
Yes, they're being provided by attendees. So there's a written report to read as well.
Yeah, sure. Do we want to read those now, or? No, we don't want to read them.
I don't think you
Yeah,
need to
I
go
didn't think
through
so.
all of that right now.
Okay. Is there anything else?
I just had a question for Denise, so people would know, when is our first budget meeting?
Goodness, it will be the 14th, which is this coming Wednesday.
Yeah. It was 6 o'clock?
All the budget meetings will be at 6.
Wednesday. Here?
It will be here, yes. I highly recommend you bring your tablet because it's a lot of.
Yeah.
I don't want complex, I want simple. And
I will make it as simple as I possibly can.
Well, I know that mess that was a budget for the previous several years is not gonna be acceptable, so, at least from my standpoint. I think all the board ought to be able to sit down and make decisions based on readily readable and identifiable numbers and patterns.
Yes.
I
So
completely agree.
we've got the only one, just a quick little snippet preview. The only one that's really complicated, and I would say really complicated, is the open space one.
Yeah.
Because we did a 100-year projection.
Yeah, well, we're not gonna live that long.
So, well, with putting Joanne Fisher in the program this year, we needed to do
Yeah.
what it would look like 99 years out. So that one gets a little complicated, but I would say we don't need
It's
to.
kinda like predicting the weather, a couple months out.
Yeah.
It's,
We don't need to go too into detail into that. I mean,
No,
it gives you an overall idea. That's all.
Yeah.
Everything else, what I tried to do was keep a 3-year history,
Yep.
and then originally I wanted to do a 10-year projection, but COVID made that impossible.
Yeah.
So
that's too
3
far.
years.
Too many things change, boards change,
there's about a 3-year
personalities
projection.
change,
Yeah.
community demands change. I mean, you're asking a lot. I mean, maybe for road projects, you have your overall thing, but not budget-wise. I don't know that that's even possible to keep
Yeah,
that under control.
COVID
But-
kind of threw a wrench into it.
Well, yeah,
COVID
I
threw a
mean,
wrench in a
anything
lot
could
of
happen,
things.
so.
But yeah, it will be there's a lot of interaction I want the board to be involved in
Sure.
for decision making. And so I have a lot of charts on a spreadsheet so that you can change one input and it will go through and change all the other numbers.
Sure.
So there's we can sit and play with some things.
Yeah. Good. Good.
Okay.
It will not be one meeting and done, I guarantee it.
No, I don't expect it to be. We pulled that off last year, but it's, yeah.
That will not happen this year.
I was shocked. So, but anyway, is there anything else? We finished up? Okay, great. I entertain a move to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
We are adjourned.
Second.
Thanks for coming,
So,
everyone.
bye, everybody.